Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. My name's Tanya and it's so pretty outside today, and today is a good day to make something fun. So today's fun thing is honey caramel sauce. Now if you've ever had a caramel apple, and now is fair time in our little small town in the middle of Arkansas, we are having our county fair here. So for fair food, you remember caramel apples from years back. I guess they still serve them now, I don't even know. But with caramel apples, they're made with a lot of sugar and cream, and you basically brown your sugar until it turns into a caramel, and that caramel sauce is so good. But we got invited to a housewarming party this weekend, and we're all pitching in and bringing treats. I was assigned to bring cornbread and watermelon, but it's not really watermelon season. There's not that many good watermelons left out there, so I am opting to change it up a little bit. I'm bringing some sliced organic apples, some pretzel sticks, some pork rinds, and some caramel dipping sauce. So those are all to dip in the caramel. I think you're gonna like this because, of course, it's not made with sugar. We're gonna make it with honey this time, and it really doesn't take that long. It has very few ingredients, and I'm not even going to tell you what to do with the leftovers because I'm telling you there's not going to be any leftovers. And I'm doubling this recipe, so just know that what I'm putting in this recipe, you can have it, and I will put the original recipe for just half of what I'm making in the description. So if you just want to click on that, get the recipe, go right ahead. If you want to watch it, join me. Let's go. Okay, we're ready to go. We're going to turn our burner on a medium heat. I have 1 stick of butter. I would encourage you, if you don't have a heavy saucepan, to consider purchasing or borrowing one for this. You don't want a thin, flimsy pan because it's going to scorch. I'm just telling you ahead of time. Yeah. You're going to waste all those good ingredients. All right. We have 1.25 cups of just honey. Now, make sure it's real honey. Don't buy that honey wannabe stuff. This is real honey, but it's not raw honey. And the reason is because I'm not going to waste my good raw honey on something that's got to be cooked, because it just cooks all the beneficial parts of the honey out. Zoe, good lands. Every time I start video and she decides to scratch the surface of her little bed down there, her coolaroo. I think she's making a nest. It's weird. The clock starts dinging and the dog starts scratching the coolaroo. All right, patience is a virtue, especially when it comes to making something like this, because we're going to cook this until it becomes a little bit darker, like a brown color. But again, I'm using real honey, but I'm not using raw honey, because even though raw honey has great health benefits to it, it's just a really superior product to a lot of things. But once you heat it up, all those things go away. So I'm just using the less expensive stuff. So this housewarming party that we got invited to, this is our friend Jacob. And Jacob only graduated from high school like a 1.5 years ago. He just bought his first house. I love that kid so much. Part of our church family, and we're friends with his siblings because they've lived here a little bit longer, but he moved here from Maryland, and he is just so stinking impressive. Everybody just everybody loves him. Everybody loves being around him. So I'm looking forward to this party. I have no idea what's going to show up there as far as food. I think somebody said, I think one of his sisters told me that somebody's bringing maybe some beans to go with the cornbread. So I have no idea what it's going to be, but I'm telling you, food is not going to be the highlight of this party. It's going to be being with Jacob and his family. They're just the funnest. I just wish everybody had friends like we do, and they're some of the best. So this is his housewarming party, and I can't wait to take the basket of stuff because I was told about this party a few weeks ago. And I asked one of his sisters, well, what does he need? And she gave me a few ideas, so I went and picked up all those things on that list. Then she said, well, and if you can't find that, then maybe this. And she told me a few more things, so I just went and got that and put it in the basket too. So I don't think I have a whole lot of room left in the basket for stuff. I just keep finding stuff that I know he needs. You know, I'm old. I know these things. I know what you need and what you don't need. And what I got you, that's stuff you need. Except for the Legos. He probably doesn't really need Legos, but I got him some Legos. All right, so we're going to cook this down. Don't walk off and just leave this. I mean, you can walk off and do something in the same room, but I wouldn't like go out and mow the yard or wash your car or anything and leave this cooking, because this may take, from what I'm gathering from this recipe, it might take about 10 minutes or so. So we're just going to let the video roll, but I'm not going to stand here and stir this the entire time, but this is going to cook down just a bit and turn a darker color. And after it does, we will add our cream to it. That should be interesting. So this has butter, honey, heavy cream, a little bit of salt, and some good quality vanilla. And we're going to wait till it cools down a lot to put the vanilla in there, because I know what happens when you put alcohol-based vanilla in something hot. It kind of spatters sometimes. So we're not going to be dumb about it. All right, we're going to let this cook down. So enjoy watching. All right, I'm going to check my temperature of this and see what it is. You know what? My thermometer doesn't go up high enough. I need to get my candy thermometer out. Check it with it. Should be around 240 degrees ideally, and it is about 240 degrees. So I'm going to slide this off the heat just a minute, and I'm going to whisk this heavy cream in. Put it back on the heat again. This is the first time I've made cream or caramel this way, because I normally make it the other way with sugar, but I hadn't made it in so long since I stopped using sugar as much. But I was excited to find a recipe that called for honey. I mean, super excited. All right, we're going to turn our heat back up a little bit. I turned it down just a moment ago. You saw me messing with the thermostat on the stovetop, so I turned it back down just a little bit because it was simmering quite nicely. I didn't want it going crazy. All right, we're going to get this back up to a boil. to go ahead and add my salt. That's not quite 1/4 teaspoon, but close to it. I'd thought about putting this in a slow cooker, putting it out in the sunroom, and just putting the lid on the slow cooker, but putting like a wooden spoon in it where the evaporation could come out and it would cook it down. But because it called for only cooking it for 10 minutes, I just went ahead and did it in here. But that's something we might try soon. Because, you know, you got to experiment when it comes to stuff like this, because you have to eat the experiment, and that's the fun part. Now, ideally, because this got up to around 240, 245, 248, somewhere along in there, it's supposed to be thicker when it cools down. So right now I know it looks runny, but if this does anything like the caramel that I've cooked on just the regular kind, then it will definitely thicken up. Now, if you want to make caramels like the kind that get harder and they're kind of like a toffee, well, not hard like a toffee, but like little wrapped caramels, then you could cook it at a little bit higher temperature and put it in a buttered baking dish or a dish lined with parchment or something like that, and you could cut it into sections and make caramels out of it. Just curious what that temperature is now. That's at about between 210, 215 right now. All right, so it's come to a boil. We're going to turn that off. We're going to let this rest. It says let it rest for 10 minutes. So we'll let it rest for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and add our vanilla to it. So I'll turn the cameras off. We'll come back in just a minute, add our vanilla to it, and see if it's thickened up a little bit. Okay, we've had it rest for 10 minutes now. I was actually looking for something on my phone, and I had the timer set on my phone, and about the time I turned my phone off, the timer went off, and I thought I wasn't going to recover from that. That about gave me some coronary arrest there. All right, it has not thickened up, but I'm not panicking about it. I don't care if it's watery enough to drink with a straw. I'm dipping something in this, and I'm eating it. But I think it's going to thicken up because I had it hot enough. All right, we're going to put our vanilla in it, and this is just homemade vanilla. You can see the vanilla beans in there. Isn't that pretty? I love the bottle though. I think the bottle's pretty. And if you've never seen me use this, this is just a medicine dropper for infant medicine. And I'm going to put about 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla in there. All right, I will try to remember to video this whenever it thickens up. And if it doesn't thicken up, I'll video it and just let you see me eating something with it in there. All right, I wish you could smell this. This smells so good. All right, simple enough. And I bet you have those ingredients on hand. If you have a little bit of honey, some butter, some heavy cream, salt, and some vanilla, and that's all there is to it. You could probably add some cinnamon to this, and if you like the heat, you can add some cayenne to it. Really give it a funky little kick there. I think that would be interesting too. So thanks for joining us. We look forward to sharing something with you again soon, and I'll try to post some pictures of this, maybe even post some pictures of the party and the group that gets together with that. No promises, but we'll give it a shot. Thanks, guys.